Because Michael R. of the Easton, Pennsylvania R's asks, "Hi Matt, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving." And yes, belatedly, let me wish everybody at a moment of service, all of our American friends, a happy 400th Thanksgiving. F colonialism, F whatever other pejoratives that they've got for the Pilgrims. The first Thanksgiving was in Plymouth, Massachusetts, in 1621, and really, that's you have to say that's where America started. Was the first Thanksgiving. If things went off the rails, and we can all agree that they went off the rails with the relationship with Native Americans, you can't fault the Pilgrims in 1621 for inviting the local Native tribes to a big Thanksgiving feast, as in, thank you, God, Thanksgiving. So having belabored that point, happy 400th Thanksgiving. Here's a question for Dave, but it may have something to do with your question for Dave. I'm not sure that I understood that one. Do you understand that one?
No. I probably said I was going to ask something and forgot what it was.
That's something like that. Yes. Well, I've got a picture here of Michael R. with a hole in his head. So that could that's a teaser for an upcoming weekly update that's got Michael R. with a hole in his head. This could be related to that. Hi, Dave. I remember reading questions from the Cerebus comic book back in the day, and fans asking, if something would happen to you, what would happen with Cerebus's ending? I think I remember that Gerard would finish the book without words. I'm sure there were a few other answers that I have forgotten. My question is there a notebook that Margaret doesn't have that you still possess that has the ending written down if something should have happened to you before you got to 300? All the best, Michael R. And no, there was, I don't know if Michael's misremembering or if I far more likely phrased something badly and made it sound as if that was the situation. There's no way that, depending on when that would have happened to me, that Gerard would have been able to take over, even if he had been inclined to. I mean, backgrounds are a very specialized thing, and of course, if he's not the best background artist in comics, he's definitely in the top 3 or 4. Actually taking over and finishing a 6,000-page graphic novel, no, there was a lot of shifting around in the last year, and I have actually on the top shelf here in the rectangle office, which used to be Gerard's office, a stack of material from that last year that I thought should see the light of day at some point, and decided now that the last day is in the on-deck circle, the next Cerebus hardcover is going to be form and void, because that's been sold out for a long time, and the last day is down to the last 33 copies here in the Cerebus archive. So I pulled out all of that material, and a big stack of it was Gerard's pencils for the backgrounds, modeling and sketches on top of the computer modeling, backgrounds that I did where he was freezing up on doing backgrounds, and it's like, okay, I'll draw this one, and then you just copy what it is that I drew, and that really didn't help. I was trying to be as helpful as possible, but it wasn't helpful. Anyway, all of that has been scanned and sent to Dagan James, and you sift through this and decide which of these should be included with the last day remastered hardcover, and I'll write captions on them, or Gerhard will write captions on them. And then I had no idea there was that much of Gerhard's work in there. This was all just, I'd never want to think about that last year again for the rest of my life, but I know that at some point I'll just put all of these on one shelf, and it's like, oh, this is all Gerhard's artwork, or a good chunk of it, 3/4 of it. So I got Rolly to scan it all and send digital copies and the actual tracing paper drawings to Gerhard. So if there's a giant last day Gerhard background sale in the immediate future, that will explain that one. But no, the whole way that I did Cerebus all the way along, and the way that I've ended up doing Strange Death of Alex Raymond, it's just the way I work, is one page at a time. And if I have to move stuff around, and if I have to drop stuff, and if I have to goose up the emphasis on this thing and sublimate the emphasis on this other thing, that's something that I decide on the page that I'm working on. And then as soon as that page is done, I don't revisit that. That's just the way I've always done comics. And there's absolutely no way to roadmap that, to say, okay, this is roughly what's happening here. I mean, we're far more in the situation now than we were with Cerebus, although we didn't know at the time. Is Dave Sim going to live long enough to finish Strange Death of Alex Raymond? And in the case of SDOAR, there will be more written material. There will be available material. What I would really like to get it done, because you're just torturing future graphic narrative fans who are going, this is really good. This is I'm so engaged with this, and I just have to find out what happens next and what happens next and what happens next. And this is circling back in on itself and then relating to this thing over here. And I'm running out of pages. Oh no, this is as far as he got. And unfortunately, if I don't finish the mock-ups for Strange Death of Alex Raymond, that's what the experience is going to be. And then it's all over to Eddie. And, okay, here's, the Cage Songbird storyline. And here's a correspondence box full of what Dave Sim had to say about this storyline. But that's all me thinking out loud in type, and then having done that, being able to say, okay, having said all of that, what's the best and most central points to those, and we'll distill it down to that. And I won't be here to do that, so it's just going to be this meticulously sculpted, fine-tuned, page-by-page narrative, and then suddenly it goes bluey into all of these research materials. And anybody who wants to write and draw their own ending on Strange Death of Alex Raymond based on that, I'm sure Eddie will be happy to give you the keys to the vault, and you can look at everything that was said, everything that was dug up, and see what it is that I chose and what it is that I didn't choose. And no one would ever be able to do Dave Sims' Strange Death of Alex Raymond, because I have a very idiosyncratic way of thinking and a very idiosyncratic way of doing my work. So all I can do is cross my fingers, keep my nose clean, try and eat healthy, stay out of drafts, etc., and hopefully get to the end of this. This ties in with your later question.
Yes, it does. Very much
yes,
so.
It does. But we're going to skip over that for a moment.
Yeah.
Because we've got MJ Sewell